Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to the Tech Chit Chat Show. If you're new here, my name is Ken. You can find me on Northern Viking every day and Northern Viking Explorer on YouTube. I'm here with my co-host Stephen Loney on YouTube and 8-Bit Warrior on Twitter. Good day there, Stephen.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, I beat you to it.
Even though I just asked you that, but anyway, we have a great show today, and we're gonna put everything in the timestamps below if you're watching later. So we've got some topics we're gonna be chatting about, so you can find those, in the show notes after the live stream here. So we're gonna talk about 4090s burning up. We're gonna talk about Google Chrome no longer being supported in older OSs. We're going to talk about the RCS War. You might be wondering about what that is. Some price changes at YouTube and Netflix that might be coming. And then a cool watch that we want to show you. So we've got some interesting topics, and you'll be able to find those in the timestamps if you are watching us on the repeat. Yes, so you're doing well. You had a good weekend?
Yeah, I had a good weekend.
Nice.
It was good. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah. We had some birthday party stuff going on, and
nice.
Just family time, friends over, so it was good. It was
to Thomas, who might pop in here. Happy birthday, Thomas! If he's watching,
watching, yeah. So
he shouldn't be, but if he is,
he should be at school. So we had some good stuff going on. So I did want to mention that if you haven't watched us before, this is the Tech Chit Chat Show, and we like to get together and talk about tech. Stephen and I have gone to coffee shops for years and just enjoyed chatting about tech. So we thought we'd bring that to you guys to join in.
Cheers.
Cheers if you are joining us today. Good morning.
Feel free to grab a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Come join along, join the chat, talk with us. Come to the coffee shop.
Come to the coffee shop, join us. Good morning, Cody. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it. And to all of you, chime in the chat, and we like to bring some of your responses into the show as well. So, we don't claim to know everything, but we do our best to be knowledgeable. It's funny. I think they call it Techtober or something like that. There's a lot of stuff tech-wise that's been happening this month, and we haven't even covered a lot of it. Like, I know we didn't touch on the new Apple iPads and different things like that, and even some of the other products that have come out. But there's just so many things we could talk about them, but it's we have to narrow it down at some point. So we're gonna stick with what we've got here.
At the end of the day, there's plenty of other people that are going to be talking about those things. So it's not like there's that is needed. There's other stuff out there too.
So. No, for sure. And for sure, I don't have any I don't use Apple products myself. Nothing really against them. It's just we'll leave maybe like the iPad stuff to other people who are more knowledgeable in that. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how to turn one on, so
I know I struggle these days with Apple products. I'm like, these are supposed to be easy to use. When a family member is like, "Can you help me?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that I couldn't use one. It's just trying to figure it out when you haven't actually had one.
We've been in the Android ecosystem now for quite a while, so it's hard going back.
I think I mentioned the last week. The last Apple product I personally had was the iPhone 3GS,
which was a nice phone.
Yeah, and my wife had an iPod Touch. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
So I feel like you might have had one of those back in the day as well.
I did. I had one. I had to get one for development because I wanted to develop for it, so I needed one. So.
So
yeah.
Cool. So we light this show on fire and get going here.
Yeah, let's get it lit. Let's go.
Let's go. So there are a lot of reports. I shouldn't say a lot of reports. There are several reports of the new RTX 4090 graphics cards
burning up.
Yes.
So we'll clarify that.
I think it's mostly connectors melting and potentially turning into a fire.
Yeah.
But that's not good when it's only been out for a couple weeks and most people haven't received theirs yet.
Right. Yeah.
So this is on WCCF Tech. You can see some images here. So it's a new connector you might not have seen before. So it's a 16-pin connector, and the photo kind of shows it there. So there's 12 pins on the bottom, which would be more typical to what you may have seen in some of the GPUs. That's what, more typical in a GPU you might have seen. And then there's 4 pins on top, tinier pins. So from my understanding, they come with an adapter, or there's an adapter.
Yeah, if you don't have the
if you don't have the
support, the modern.
Yeah. So a lot of these connectors are melting, and here's a Twitter. This is a tweet, I should say, from Charlie Woods. You can see the melted connector there.
Yeah, in that picture you can oh no, maybe it's further down. There's a more closer oh no, I think you already showed it. Yeah.
So they are melting, and this isn't a good thing.
No.
So
it's not.
There's definitely there's stuff that's come out. This is probably the one you were talking about.
That one, and then I think you already showed it at the bottom. You can click; it'll move the picture over. But I think you were already showing that one. I think that was the one you already showed.
Yeah. Sorry for those of you on the podcast listening. You'll have to just do a search, or you can find the links in the description.
Yeah.
I don't know. So they're saying a lot of it may have to do with the cable being bent too close to the GPU, which is interesting.
I heard that and I had to laugh because I'm like, of course it had to be bent. Like, yes, no, yeah, you're not supposed to bend it. But like when I have my computers, even with I'm always having to bend stuff out of the way. There isn't much room between the side
of
case for a lot of, like, at least for stuff I've dealt with, I'm like having to like mash stuff down. So
I'm just looking at my GPU now. Like, I have plenty of room. I probably have a good 2 inches, but I'm looking at my cables and they come straight out of the GPU and go straight down.
Right.
Exactly what it's showing here not to do.
Right. Like, if you've built computers for over the years, you've been fine to do this. Like, it's like maybe not advised. I don't know, but often I've had not enough room, and you're having, especially on certain cases. So yeah, this seems ideal, but it's like in reality. Now, the concern here is. Sorry, go ahead.
Looking at this picture on here, mine is more like the first one here. And what they're saying is to go 35 millimeters out and then bend it down. So I think I don't know. They don't want the bend where close to the connector.
Honestly, right? Like if I had a 4090 right now, I think I would just take the side panel off. I would just be like, yeah, you're off until I get a 90 connector or something more better.
Yeah. So that is the good news. There's supposed to be 90-degree connectors coming to help support this issue.
The reinforcements are coming.
They've
been called up.
So what are your thoughts here? Is this a problem with, because I've seen some other stuff where maybe they're underpowered power supplies.
This seems to come with the territory. So if I'm reading right, from this, like the power supply requires like an 850. So I'm reading from one site. What is it? transcontinentaltimes.com saying 850 watts power minimum, required minimum 850 watt power supply. Tom's Hardware, if an article saying that it recommends 1200 watt power supply or something. Like, this is just like microwave territory of power, kind of. So it just seems to me when you have that kind of power coming through, like the average GPU people are running is like a 200 watt, 150, 200, 250 watts, right?
For an older kind of.
Yeah, for people who've been running like 1060s, 1070s, 2060s and stuff, all the average user is not running super high hundreds of watts.
Well, I think like the average PC build now is probably doing somewhere between like the $100 to $150 model of power supply is kind of that 500 to 750 somewhere in there watt power supply. So
it's not gonna be able to handle this. Yeah.
No. So no. I'm kind of wondering if people used underpowered power supplies, and this is why it's happening. And not necessarily, more so that the cable that comes with the underpowered power supply is flimsy, or like not. I don't know what the word is.
Not up to snuff.
I can't put out enough.
Can't put out a fire.
Can't put out a fire.
It needs to come with a fire retardant system built in to the cable.
Yeah,
to be ready to go. Now
that's my thoughts. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, but I'm just a little like, did somebody really order a 4090 and not have an adequate power supply? They're like, well, yeah, I'm gonna use my leftover, pre-built power supply here with my 4090. I'm gonna put it into my Dell machine. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah,
but you're asking for trouble.
This reminds me of the I don't know how much Office you've watched there, Stephen, but when Saber buys Dunder Mifflin and the printers are going up in flames, and Andy discovers this, I think it's kind of the same thing here.
Dunder Mifflin situation.
Dunder Mifflin situation. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on this. I'm curious to see what happens.
At the least, with one of the guys who reported the problem, his card was spared. But it seems like some guys, the connector, if the connector gets burned, they're going to need to RMA the card. But yeah, as more people get their hands on these things, is there going to be more reports of this? Is there going to be a potential for fires? You get one fire, you get something actually causing something to actually catch on fire. You got a really bad issue.
Well, and that's the question I have. If they're going to RMA it, are they going to have to prove what power supply they used?
Yeah, you're going to need to know which make of the GPU, which board makers like Asus or Gigabyte, who was it, power supply, the cable used. Even
because is it NVIDIA's fault if somebody did use the old power supply from their old thing?
And
old
even
PC?
What else is plugged into the electrical socket?
Yeah.
Like, do you have your microwave plugged into the same thing and you're running your 4090 with, like, I'm serious. Like, what if you have like the power bar and someone's running a power bar from a power bar like Thomas, because I've heard he's done that before. How do you, like, also knowing where you're plugged into the wall, do you actually have adequate power, clean power coming from that? Because you're dealing with much higher draws of power here. So
yeah, and is there some of the power supplies have like daisy chains on them too, so you can actually have other stuff plugged in?
So there's other factors. Is it a poor quality of power coming to the machine? Where is it failing? It could be because when you're testing in the these power supplies and all these things and the GPUs, they're probably testing with adequate, good, clean power from the wall, and not with a real person's actual power bar and just swamped with all these things. Like, that's reality.
Yeah. And there's a difference between a power bar and a splitter.
Splitter. Yeah, not your ideal. You should use a surge protector. It's like, yeah, you should. But we're talking about reality and someone who didn't have time to find one. They just found what they could and split it, and they made it work.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. If we hear more news, we'll probably chat about it some more in the coming weeks. So
yeah.
So awesome. Let's dive over to the next one. This is kind of if you're using one of those old computers with your 4090 in it that runs Windows 7 or Windows 8.1, Chrome is no longer going to be supported in your system. So your Chrome browser, you'll still be able to use it, but they're going to stop support for it, stop updates, which makes it more vulnerable to attacks and different things like that. So probably time to upgrade your system. If you spent all your money on that 4090, you probably should upgrade the rest of your system too.
Yeah, right.
So thoughts on this, Stephen? So there's so apparently Chrome will stop on being supported on February 7th of next year. And I think I saw something about Microsoft plans to end support for those versions January 10th of 2023.
Which I did not know this. This is news to me about Windows dropping support for Windows 8.1. Yeah, I'm not surprised about the Windows 7 part. It's the Windows 8.1 part that I'm more surprised about. I would have thought that would have gone on at least a couple more years here.
Well, and they're saying there's reports are that there's could be 100 million PCs that are using this still running.
Right. Yeah.
So
there's probably
I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. There's all those companies that use old computers that they still work and they keep using them.
Yeah.
But it does create a lot of vulnerabilities as well for those businesses.
Well, in that case, you might want to just look. Those users might need to jump over to Firefox. Is Firefox still supporting Windows 7 8.1? That might be what needs to become the trend. Is if you're stuck in an older machine, you got all these computers as an office, you might just move things to Firefox.
And there is potential that Chrome OS would work on your system as well.
That's true. Maybe that's what they're trying to get at. Maybe they're trying to maybe that'll be their push.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Like that's a lot of people using it, which could cause some problems for sure.
Yeah. But it should be okay overall. It's not like it's going to become day one insecure and vulnerable.
No.
Unless somebody finds some exploit on that day and is like, hey, and then Google's drop support. But
yeah,
even if that happened, I would be suspicious that Google would actually do one more update quietly to fix a super bad vulnerability, that they would still do it. Because there was a company, I think, that did do that. I think we talked about one and they dropped support, but it might have even been an NVIDIA driver when NVIDIA dropped support, but they went back and they no longer...
recently there was an update for something that was quite old.
Yeah, and I think it was NVIDIA, and I think it was because they had dropped support for the GPUs, but I think they went back and still did one more because of a security issue, possibly. And it was because of an exception. They're like, so, but other than that, it wouldn't be like day one. That stuff Chrome would become exposed and terrible. But after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, there's no longer a guarantee of it being safe to use.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll keep an eye on that as well. So, again, Chrome no longer being supported next year in Windows 7 or 8.1. Well, this next one is kind of interesting to me. Do you know what RCS is, or now you do?
I haven't. This is news to me. I'm learning this morning. You definitely seem to know more about this than I have known about it.
I don't want to say I know a lot about it, but there's been a lot of news about it lately. The RCS War. So typically on your phone, you've had SMS texting, which is kind of the older generation of texting. And now something called RCS has come out or has been out for a while. And Google, as well as WhatsApp, are really pushing for Apple to adopt this. So essentially what it is, it's a secure form of chat through Wi-Fi or rather than through SMS. And they really want iMessage or I think it's called iMessage, to adopt using RCS as well. So you can have a rich communication chat back and forth with one another where responses work properly rather than it kind of reading out the name of the emoji and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So a real modern experience of what you expect from chat programs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And because right now Android and Apple don't really talk well with one another. Many of you probably have noticed that, and this would potentially fix those problems. So
I just don't talk to Apple people, and then it fixes that problem too.
Sorry, you have an iPhone. I can't be your friend. because I don't like how your texts come through on my phone.
It's not you, it's me. Don't worry about it.
So, I mean, I've been using messages for a little while now on my old phone, and then it comes stock in my Pixel 7 I got here. And so I can send a text message. There's a little lock symbol. It sends it. And if it doesn't go through, then I will automatically try and send it in SMS. But it's some of the reactions and things that that work well with RCS texting. So different, I guess, how would you say it? Reactions to text that come through with emojis. You can actually watch YouTube videos right in the app. You can do different things like that. So Google is really pushing for this to come to Apple, and now WhatsApp is pushing for it as well. And they've been bashing iMessage with this is a tweet from Mark Zuckerberg: green bubble, blue bubble, private bubble, WhatsApp. And from my understanding, it's hard to say. I think Apple wants to keep their ecosystem closed to try and force people onto it. But I don't know. I think it should be, I think to give everybody a better experience, it would be, because I think what's happening now is if you potentially send messages to iPhone users out of the Apple one, it'll do what kind of that annoying read out what the emoji is, because it won't be able to understand what the emoji is. So
right. It's like a voice to a text to voice kind of thing starts talking.
Yeah, it would be like, rather than saying, I think I was talking about it here or in one of the articles, it might just be like heart emoji rather than actually.
Yeah. What if you kind of like that? What if you like that kind of emotion? See you there, heart emoji.
Yeah. So I don't know. It would be nice if everyone could just get along and make this work.
You know, there's also this thing called mail. We can write letters to each other, and we can draw all the hearts and all the stars we want.
Mm-hmm.
We can. Anyway, sorry. As for modern tech, yeah, this is Actually, I might come back to that in the future episode. I might talk about that again. Letters and writing letters. Get back to that. But even beyond like the phones, SMS, and all this, even on Facebook, I'll be on Facebook on my phone or something, and people will be using emojis, and I don't see the emojis even on Facebook.
Yeah,
like you'll just get like the letters, and you're like,
or it'll be a square that says like OBJ, I think, in it, like an object or something.
Yeah. And even I was part of like this online work group for stuff, and I set like an emoji for like one of the titles for one of the categories. Mm-hmm. And it was actually Cody. Cody's asking me, he's like, why did you put this emoji there? I was like, what are you talking about? He sent me a picture of what it was. I'm like, that's not what I put. Okay. Like I put this really cool like ninja cat thing in their emoji. It made sense.
Yeah.
But it like split on his end. It was split into two different emojis, and it didn't make sense. And I had to explain like, no, I have like a cool ninja cat emoji here. And then realizing that this wasn't even about phones. Even our computers were not getting the same. The browsers were not getting the same emojis. It was causing like a potential for misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So even when I send an emoji to somebody, even on a computer, I'm like, are they going to get the same emoji I'm sending? Because if it's not being conveyed properly, it could change my intention, depending on what browser. Anyways, so it goes beyond even. Yeah, all these companies and systems are not on the same place. But
have you heard this new thing where some people are saying that the thumbs up emoji is offensive now? Because it's like standoffish and stuff. By the younger generation is not liking the. So I talk to my kids and they're like, "That's dumb." I get it if someone texts you and that's all you reply with. That might be kind of standoffish, but like, I don't know. You did a great job. Thumbs up emoji. Like,
I get it, but I think it depends on who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's context. And sometimes I know sometimes that I can give a thumbs up and it can be kind of it might be considered kind of a push off. I can get it, but sometimes it just feels fine to use it.
Well, it's a great way to because it's a great way. You've sent a few texts back and forth, and they're like, "See you soon," and then it's like thumbs up emoji. Like it just kind of ends the conversation. And I think, thanks, Cody. I'm gonna continue to use the thumbs up emoji because I think it's, I don't know. If we're gonna get all offended about something like that, there's bigger things in the world to be offended about.
And I'm gonna push back to the person who's offended by the thumbs up that is push offish. Maybe you don't actually want to get that close to the person who's trying to contact you. Maybe you are trying to actually keep distance, and they're actually offended by you and not an emoji.
Mm-hmm. And they're probably the same people that are not offended by the middle finger emoji. So.
You're out driving and there's that offended guy. There you are, and you give a thumbs up.
So I'm going to just say this. I am not offended by the thumbs up emoji. I think we should all continue to use it, and there's no reason at this point to stop using it.
As long as you use it properly with a good intent.
Yes. And it's like, if that's all you send is thumbs up emojis and never respond to anyone, the reason it's rude is because you actually don't respond, not because you're...
Agreed.
The
person's offensive, not the emoji.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yes. That's awesome. Oh, man.
We could have made that his whole topic there. That should have been its own thing. Anyway, let's carry on. What were we even talking about? Oh, RCS Wars. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully Apple adopts that, even though they don't want to. The RCS. So let's jump over to some other changes coming. So YouTube is increasing some of their prices, as well as if you are a sharer of your Netflix account, you might be getting charged soon as well. So let's jump over here. If you have a family plan on YouTube, they are raising the price from to $22.99 per month. And the interesting part is if you buy it through the Apple Store, it's $29.99 per month. So that's going from $17.99 to $22.99. I saw some tweets online from some pretty big YouTubers basically saying goodbye to the Apple App Store for their YouTube subscription. Yeah, right.
Because that's starting to, that's a $7 difference in price.
That's not small. Yeah.
To buy it through the App Store. So,
like I'm okay.
This isn't supposed to turn into an Apple bashing session, but I don't like. It's one thing if it's you're playing a little bit of a premium, but that's like a hefty 25% premium or something.
I didn't want to go there, but I think on a side note, it might be a good decision on like Apple's part or other stores to do a smaller cut for subscription-based purchases. Mm-hmm. To do like a 10, 12, 15% cut instead of the straight 30, because it does seem steep. It doesn't seem like a good idea to keep the 30% cut for the subscription purchases.
Yeah. And yet I get it. You can go to the store and your grocery store, and one store sells Cheerios for $4 and the next one sells it for $6. So I understand.
Which one do you go to?
Costco.
Yeah. The one that sells for $4 in bulk.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, we go through so much of that kind of stuff with 3 teenagers. So
well, when your son is 6 feet 6 inches tall, yeah, you're gonna go through a lot of Cheerios.
Yeah. So I think if you are a YouTube Premium family plan member, it's a fairly big price jump, but you do get a fair bit for it as well. You're getting you don't have to have ads on your videos. You can download videos. You can use the I believe the music service and whatnot. And I don't believe as of right now the price is changing for individual memberships. So it was just for the family plans.
Now I'm learning even more this morning. I did not even know there was a family plan for YouTube Red.
And I don't think it's called YouTube Red anymore, though.
Oh, so is that how out of date I am?
That's how out of date I think you are. It's YouTube Premium now.
Okay, sorry. I did not know there was a family plan for YouTube Premium. Because this actually interests me. It actually would work well in my household here. So this is actually something that I didn't know about. This article, I'm like, hey, there is a family plan. Okay, like even with the price hike, it seems like a very valid price for our household here. We can make heavy use of it because I'm getting irritated by the ads, not because there are ads, but because of the content of the ads are actually starting to really get at me that I hate them. Not all ads, but there are certain ones that come up. I'm like, this does not belong here.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm going to say there's even there's a younger member in my household who's watching Minecraft videos and they're innocent, and an ad comes up that does not belong in a Minecraft video category. YouTube, it is totally off, and it's actually awfully bad. So that's one thing that I'm hoping that YouTube pushes more of, just getting rid of ads in general, honestly, and moving to more paid subscribers and cleaning up ad content. Sorry, a little soapbox side, but I would like to see more higher quality ads, better placed, or no ads at all with paid subscription. Kind of going back to Discord. Discord is doing a good job, I think, with no ads and actually having financially good business decisions, it seems. So anyway, soapbox over.
The interesting thing about that, I'm curious if the ads are also based on the account that you're watching through. For
the problem is when the account is so mixed. So that account is going to be heavily Minecraft videos. YouTube's going to know. There's without a shadow of a doubt, there's a heavy kid presence here with Minecraft. And that was the video watched. And sure, there's some people mixed in the account, but it's predominantly males on the account, and it served a very female oriented ad. Like in the right context, it'd be fine, but it was not appropriate. Like YouTube had a lot of information to know from history that this is like who's watching, and it didn't fit. It didn't fit. So, and it seemed like such an obviously wrong placed ad that like YouTube messed up. If they're trying, it's like, this is so out of place. At the right time, go put it on some like other channel and it would have been just fine. But in this context, it was like, wow, that's when they're trying to be safer with kids YouTube and stuff and this was just so out of place. Now, mind you, this did not show up on YouTube Kids channel, to be clarified, but it still should have been smart enough to see that this was not.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering, if it was on the YouTube Kids channel, because if it's not, regardless, let's continue on.
Yes, let's carry on.
So that being said, the family plan, if you are sharing your plan with people, Netflix is going to be cracking down on that. So Netflix says it will start charging for extra users next year, which is interesting. I don't know how many of you out there have like people in different houses that you share a Netflix password with. Well, you might be paying extra next year. So we'll see what happens there. I think this is a Canadian article. So they're saying it could be potentially $4 to $5 per additional user. I'm not sure how they're going to track this. Is it too many people from different IP addresses? Is that how they're going to track it? Do you figure? Or
so they're going to check I think the IP address and then the device ID or some kind of identifier. I would imagine. And then, once you start getting the same IP address popping up over and over and over and over, and you got like 100 devices on it. Because it's going to be people sharing across town and stuff. So, I
guess my question would be, if I come to your house and use Netflix. And then like my Netflix at your house, will they think I'm sharing?
If you put it on a new device, so if you bring it with your phone or laptop, it's going to have the same device ID. So it's going to
Okay.
Not Reddit Flake. But it's if you come here and you like log into your account on a new device here, it's going to start asking questions, I think.
But so my question then is, you can go, say, you go to an Airbnb where you might log into your own Netflix account on their TV.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to, like, I'm kind of wondering if there's a way to around that where it'll give you like a week or two where it's okay, and then
possibly,
and then all of a sudden,
what it could be is once the maximum is reached, when you come home, you have to like re-sign it again. It's going to kick out the old device. Like you have a max queue of how many can go in, and when a new device comes in, it's going to squash the last one out.
Yeah,
like it's going to push it out, so that hotel TV now is no longer on there.
Yeah,
or you need to sign in and like manually like disable it from your list and remove it. Like I think it's fine. I think it's shouldn't be that bad to enforce. It's like, yeah, you're allowed 3 devices, and once there's too many, you're gonna have to push one out and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I know of quite a few people who password share.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. If they end up getting their own accounts, or if it might just be worth paying the $5. Yeah, if that's what it's going to be. Yeah. So, because that's, I mean, if you can legitimately do it, and then you're adding another user for $5, that's actually a pretty good deal.
Right.
Rather than
having a whole new subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Again, this stuff that should have been done sooner, in my opinion. Like it should have been a thing from the start and more clearly laid out. But
yeah,
this is where they are. So
awesome. So the last topic, this came up because I saw our little friend Cody there with his thumbs up emoji. I think he liked or retweeted this on Twitter, and we actually just did a Google search into eBay, and it's the Casio TM100 radio transmitter digital watch. So we want to rewind and go back into history here a little bit and show you guys this watch. So this is over on eBay. This is ebay.ca. So this is a cool little watch. The original price was $40, and it came out in 1987. Wow. And yeah, it had a transmitter in it, so you could talk to it, or you could transmit music for up to 100-meter radius. And then in urban areas, it was like between 10 and 60 meters. So cool little watch. This blows the calculator watch out of the water.
Could you imagine how cool you would have been back in 87 if you showed up to school with this on your wrist?
Yeah, and you can transmit to your friends if you both had one and a radio.
It would have been so cool. They would have called you Data, like from the movie. Because didn't he have like a watch, like a special watch? Data.
Which Data are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Goonies.
Oh, which one was Data? Oh, okay. I think I know who you're talking about. He had the little backpack or whatever.
Yeah, and he was kind of like the techie one, the smart one, and I think he had something. I could be wrong.
I can't remember if his name was Data, but sure, I know who you're talking about.
I thought they called him Data or something as a anyway.
Data. Anyway,
let's do Star Trek. Well,
yeah.
I regress. This would have been cool. So I guess how would you? So you can transmit. So you could talk to somebody, and they get like a radio, and you could be like talking to them.
Well, if you both had one, you could talk back and forth.
Right. So I actually could have seen that been actually kind of really cool. So this came out in Japan.
So it actually had like an antenna that comes out.
Yeah. It's so cool. Excuse me, I'm just going to check my watch.
Oh, Cody is saying it is Data.
Yay! Cody's like our fact checker.
Yeah.
He needs to get past Cody. I did not give false information. This could have been really cool. Like, imagine if you're back in the day. I mean, this. So it was $40 when it came out. You said.
Yes.
So it wasn't
that was probably US. But
so that would have been like, I don't know, $100 some today or something. I guess Canadian. But if you had, especially if you lived like, say you lived in apartments and you had like a friend and you could both like talk to each other, because if it was long enough to just like, that would have been so cool. Rather than having like walkie-talkie, you could just have it on your wrist.
Yeah.
This is
one
cool.
of these on one wrist, a calculator watch on the other, and you are golden.
Like, that's cool. This is tech that we didn't know that existed back then, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So this used one, 660 Canadian.
Right. So it'd be about $500.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's not quite as pricey as that unopened original iPhone from last week that we talked about.
I would rather
30 or 40,000.
I would rather have this over the sealed original iPhone.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'd wear it.
Well, so do you know what I'd actually like this? You know, to drive to your place, we have to drive a highway called the Coquihalla, and sometimes when you drive in pairs of two, you can have this on and have the person ahead of you on a certain radio, and you can talk to them in their car.
That's true.
Like, you could like both of you have watches and be driving and like talking with your FM radios, being like, "Let's pull over."
You could have a CB radio as well.
Like that actually could have been where it could have been useful, is when you were like driving in caravans back in the day. You could have been using this before cell phones and having close, because it would have worked on open highways.
So you're driving with a big antenna sticking out of your arm.
I'm not saying it's perfect, but I mean, it's cool. I kind of wish more of this tech still existed and came back. And yeah, I do. I like it.
Me too. So, Stephen, what happens at 100 subscribers?
Well, Ken, I'm glad you asked. At 100 subscribers, we will be looking to upgrade our lowly 720p stream to a more modern, full 1080p stream. So if you would like to see our somewhat beautiful faces in a more high resolution, you can subscribe to us over on YouTube, and we will looking to make the jump at 100 subscribers. So that doesn't count to those who are not on YouTube. Sorry, it doesn't count there, but you can still jump on over and subscribe anyway, even if you listen to your podcast. But also, if you are on other forms of podcast, feel free to reach out to us, especially through Twitter and things like that. We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know if you're listening to us from anywhere else outside YouTube. Would be great to know that. Where are you guys?
Watching. You can watch us on Twitch.
Yeah,
and we're actually live streaming on Twitter right now as well. So
and also watch there. Also, don't forget that we can also watch on Spotify too. You can hear us, but you can also click and watch us. But let us know if you're in those areas. Let us know.
Yes,
and that would be great to hear from you.
Awesome. So we do have a question of the day. Does a burning GPU worry you?
Yeah, it does. Right?
Yeah. It does worry me. I'm gonna go, after the show, I'm gonna go straighten my GPU cables.
Yeah, maybe you may not be the only guy who's going today and straightening out his GPU cables. It's like, I want to live. You're gonna have like guys like building their computers and getting like firehouse insurance the same day now too. Yes, it does worry me.
It does worry me as well. I think it's something to keep an eye on. I'm sure there'll be a fix for this, so I'm not too worried about the situation. I'm sure it'll be resolved, but if you have a 4090 right now, just keep a really close eye on it. Cody, anytime my computer is on fire, I worry. Yes, I agree.
Typically, yeah.
And we're bringing fire today. So, any other thoughts on today's episode there, Mr. Steven?
Any other thoughts on today's episode? Well, no, not too much. I mean, it was an educational episode for me. I learned things today.
You learned things.
Again, we don't know everything, but we like to talk about tech and things. And so I've learned And so come and join along and learn with us in the future.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And we do appreciate it. Remember to like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching the Tech Chit Chat Show. Have a wonderful day and take care.